welcome to Swaggerslifestyle.
Hello and welcome. How are you doing? Hope you're good. This is Gbogbo Swagger and welcome to Swaggerslifestyle. Do you know that South Africa holds the world's largest reported reserve of gold, platinum group metals, chrome and manganese ore, and the second largest reserve of zirconium, vanadium, and titanium? Happy New Year and welcome to another insightful series of A Nigeria Living In. Today, we are taking a trip to South Africa, a country with stunning coastlines, dramatic mountainscapes, beautiful semi-deserts, lakes, waterfalls, to mention a few. Today, I'll be having a wonderful conversation with a beautiful YouTuber, Mibi Afolabi. She creates content on faith, family, finance, and lifestyle. I'm sure she has a lot more to say about herself. Please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Gbogbo Swagger. My name is Mibi Afolabi and I'm happy to be here. I'm a wife, a mom, and a content creator currently based in Johannesburg, South Africa. I think that is all that there is to me for now.
Thank you so much for honoring our invites and coming on the show today to have this wonderful
You're
conversation
welcome. Thank
with us.
you.
So we'll just go straight into the conversation. How did you relocate to South Africa?
I followed man, basically. I think that's the long and short of the story. I just followed man. So I met my husband in 2019 and we met via, it was a matchmaking. We were match made by our mentor at the time, and my husband was already based here. He was doing his postgraduate studies here and I was in Nigeria. So when we knew we were going to get married, it just made sense that I live and cleave. So yeah, I think basically that was what brought me here. I relocated here in April of 2021, so in 3 months it will be 3 years since I've been here.
Wow, Joburg is beautiful. I've actually been to South Africa myself and I can say it's a very, very wonderful country.
South Africa is a beautiful country.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Well, a lot of, I could say like some of, because we have conversation with, different people living in different countries. And, for the females, I think most of them actually follow the men to the countries they are living in. Yeah, your God shall be my God and your people shall be my people.
We are following
That's the way to go.
T.
We thank God for that. So how were you able to settle down? Was it easy for you to settle down, in South Africa?
So I like I said, I moved in April of 2021 and it was beginning to get cold at the time. My husband usually would tell me over the phone that, it's actually very cold in South Africa when it's winter. But because I've lived in Nigeria all my life, the coldest that we know is Harmattan, right? And I'll just always be like, please,
Yes.
How cold can it get? It can't be that bad. I remember when I landed and we got out, the breeze that slapped my face. I'm like, what? Like, what is this? I was so cold. And that was not even winter. It was just, we're just coming out of summer. They were just coming out of summer and all that. And, it was really cold. So that was like my first shock. And that was a bit difficult for me because I realized that, I don't like the cold. I don't like cold at all. That was the first, because, even in Nigeria, when it's Harmattan, I would always wear cardigan, wear head warmer. Not knowing that there was no need for all of that. I was just being dramatic. Like now, I now need the head warmer and sweater. I remember it was the following day, my husband took me shopping to buy all of my cold necessities, everything I would need for the cold. I bought head warmers, I bought gloves, I bought socks. I was always wearing socks everywhere. So I think that was a shocker for me. Then the next one would be, settling into the society. I think for me, the first societal encounter I had was church. I think I came on I arrived on a Sunday and the following Sunday, I went to church and, it was just really warm, even though it was a Nigerian church, but we had a lot of South Africans because, it's in South Africa, right? So we had a lot of South Africans and, they were very welcoming. So that was my very first encounter with natives or South Africans here. So that was a good one. But, settling into the society, I think that was a bit tough because now I was hoping that, with my degree and pedigree, I was going to be able to, just fit in into the corporate world easily. But reverse was the case for me, and that was another big shock, because I'm like, okay, so why can't I work? Meanwhile, my husband had been telling me all of these things while I was still in Nigeria, but I wasn't listening. I wasn't paying attention. I was just like, please, it's Africa. It's still the same Africa. It can't be that bad, right? Yeah. So that was quite a bit. That was quite a bit of a shocker. But yeah, it's almost 3 years. I think I'm doing fine now. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing. So tell us more about South Africa. The economy, the people, the culture, the history, the currency.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of history. That's a lot of current affairs.
No, so it's from your
Yeah,
experience,
definitely from
right?
my experience.
So you've been living there here.
Yeah,
So
I think one thing I'll always say is that South Africa is such a beautiful country. If you have not been to South Africa, maybe you're an African traveling or open to travel or explore traveling, South Africa should definitely be on your travel list, especially if you're going to start within Africa. South Africa should definitely be on that list. And I would always advise that, even for people that stay in South Africa, for me that stay in South Africa, I always say that there are so many places to see in this country that, you will not even exhaust in 2-3 years. So you don't have any business looking to travel outside South Africa, because, there are a lot to see. So yeah, South Africa is such a beautiful, beautiful country. Like, I remember when I landed, and from that airport road, I was just like, are you sure we're in Africa? Like, I was just amazed. Even the uncle that came to pick us, that came with my husband to pick us from the airport, was just like, you are really, really, really amazed. Like, you are so excited. I'm like, I have never seen anything like this. Like, the road infrastructure is just amazing. I was so excited. So I would always give it to South Africa. The beauty is top notch. Definitely, like every other country, like every other beautiful country, there is always a ghetto, right? There is a not so beautiful side, and definitely South Africa has that as
yeah,
well,
that's true.
right? But
overall,
it's a stunning country. And in terms of economy, yeah, I think it's almost at par with Nigeria. There's inflation here and there. And what you could buy with 1,000 rands in 2021 is not what you can buy now in 2024. So definitely there is inflation, and it's getting tighter, right? And yeah, the South African rand is stronger than the Nigerian naira, as of today.
It's so painful.
I think every currency is stronger than naira at this point.
No, let's not go there. It's not every currency, because there are
every currency that matters.
We are, proud about, like Zimbabwe now. Our money is better than
sure?
Zimbabwe money.
Are you sure? Is that today's news?
Yes. It is. The Zimbabwe dollar. Hello.
Is it today's news? Because we have to be really sure.
Please.
Because I know that
Naira still has.
I know that the Zimbabwe dollar has been doing well in the last couple of months. So we have to be sure that the naira is still stronger than the Zimbabwe dollar. Anyway, yeah.
But anyway, I think there are still some countries that.
Well, the currencies that matter, almost all the currencies that matter are stronger than naira.
Ouch. Well, that's
Thank
true.
you. I think
you can only hope for
yeah, as of today, I think 1 rand is equivalent to 56 naira. Yeah, something like that.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah. So we spend the rand in South Africa, and yeah, there is also something like minimum wage in South Africa. So there is kind of like dignity of labor, right? Nobody is looking down on you for doing a certain kind of job, and yeah, I think that's everything I can say for now, except you have further questions.
Yeah, so the culture of the people.
The culture of the people.
Yeah, because I know that they have a very rich, culture.
The South African culture is very rich and it's very diverse. They call it the Rainbow Nation, and that's very significant because everybody is in South Africa. You see the white person, the black person, the colored person, Indians, like everybody is here. And everybody comes with their culture. Even within the natives, like within the black people, there are so many cultures. The Zulu people have their own. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, like, within the black people, they have diverse, various cultures, and they are so rich. They are so beautiful with their attires as well. It reminds me of the Yoruba culture. Like, they just do extra. They're like extra people, and which is something that I really like. And also, I like the fact that an average South African can sing or dance. It's either you can sing or you can dance. So when that comes together in their traditional ceremonies, some people are singing, some people are dancing. Everything is just so beautiful. So yeah, they have a very, very beautiful and rich culture. An average South African will come up to you and speak a native language. They won't first of all talk to you in English. It's when you now tell them, oh, I don't understand. They even look at you like, why don't you understand? Then you go ahead to tell them, oh, I'm a foreigner. But they are so proud of their languages. They're so proud of their culture. It's just really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. So it brings me actually to the next question, because you've answered part of it. Like, what are the official languages in South Africa?
There are a lot of them. There are 11. I don't know. I don't think I know all of them. There are 11 of them.
Mention a few. I know there is
Zulu, I know there is English. I know there is Zulu. Yeah, there's Kosa, there is, I think, Sutu. I'm not sure. But yeah, 11. I don't even know one. I can't even speak one of the languages. So, yeah, one of the languages.
Have you tried learning any one of them?
See, I'm that kind of person that I don't have hearing for language. I've tried. Yeah, I've tried. There was even a time I tried to learn French, to no avail. I just wasted my money. So yeah, I've tried, but obviously I understand some greetings.
What is it like living in South Africa? Like, what's the cost of living like? Ease of doing business? What's it like living in South Africa?
Okay, cost of living, like I said, it's just very similar to living in Lagos. I don't think there is any big difference, apart from the fact that, okay, I think one big difference is, we pay more rent monthly, on a monthly basis. So you have to save for your rent as you are getting salary. As you are getting your salary, you know that, you're paying for rent from that money. So I think that's like one major difference between living in Nigeria or living in Lagos and living in Johannesburg. Because when you want to compare, you compare. Johannesburg is the Lagos of South Africa, right? It's like the hub of business. It's the busiest, I think it's the busiest province or city rather. It's the busiest city in all of the many cities. In regards, when it comes to cost of living, then doing business, that can be tricky because it depends on the kind of visa that you're coming in. Yeah, they are coming in on. So for somebody like me, I came in on a spousal visa. I think it's quite difficult for me to, have a registered business, a registered, and licensed business. I think it's difficult. I would have to be able to get. I think there's a type of visa that they issue for you if you're coming to do business or if you're coming to set up a business in the country. So I think so as well. Then also, if you have a PR, if you're a permanent resident, I think you're licensed to do almost anything. The difference between having a PR and being a citizen, I think, is very slim. So if you have a PR, I think you can pretty much do any kind of business in South Africa. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So, what don't you like about living in South Africa?
One thing I don't like is I think there is a lot of marginalization. Like, I think there is always the word foreigner is prevalent. They always make you know that you're a foreigner as in any opportunity. Yeah, in any opportunity that they get, like any way they can tell you that, okay, you actually don't belong here or this is not your home, they will take it. So I think that's one thing that I really do not like. And also, I don't like the immigration process. I think it's very slow and it is very slow and it is very discriminating, if I can say that. A South African will roll their eyes, but a foreigner wouldn't, right? because especially if you have tried to get visa in for South Africa, you know that this is true. I feel like they just look at your application and just when they discover that okay, maybe you're Nigerian or from any other African country that they don't like, they just be like, okay, sorry, you cannot come. They just find one excuse to just deny your visa. Exactly. They'll tell you that we didn't find enough ties, or we feel like you don't have enough ties. I know somebody's just coming for holiday and you're saying they don't have enough ties. What ties do you want them to have? So I feel like that is a problem. They make it almost impossible for you to integrate, especially for people that are just relocating to the country now. I think in like some 10 years ago they had a program that made it easier for foreigners to integrate, and I think that was when they needed the foreigners. So now maybe they feel like they don't need foreigners anymore.
So they're not making it very, very stringent.
I feel like I don't know if this is safe to say, but I feel like there is something called xenophobic attack, and it's it happens randomly in South Africa. So I feel like the xenophobic attack is very systemized, right? And that's a problem. So that's one thing I don't like about living here.
Thanks for sharing. So what were the cultural shocks you experienced?
So I think number one was the weather. Like I already said, the weather was I was very shocked. I'm like, why is there winter in Africa? Like, why do we have winter in Africa? It's really cold. It can get really cold. Sometimes you get to -1. Anybody in Canada watching me, they'll just roll their eyes like, what is -1? -1 is a good weather. But when you're coming from Nigeria, -1 is really cold. And when I came, we used to drink water directly from the tap, and that was really nice. Like, that was really good. That was a shock as well. Then the next one was I think I experienced my first 30 days of no with no power cuts in this country when I arrived. But now it's no longer the case.
There's load shedding. There's load shedding. We know. Now, it's becoming like Nigeria.
The only difference now is that at least they tell us before they take it, unlike Nigeria where they just take it. You might be in the middle of the most important thing you are doing for the day and they just take power in Nigeria. But here you have a schedule. I think that's the only difference. But But when I came, it was pretty stable. Electricity was pretty stable. I think the load shedding started, I think in the December of the year I came. That was when it started. Okay. When it got to the area I was living. So for like 6 months I had, no electrical cuts, and that was really nice. It's just beautiful. The country is really beautiful. There are some places that you'll be like, are you sure we're still in South Africa? We have gotten to America. It's really, really beautiful.
Oh, thanks for sharing. What is the traditional staple food in South Africa?
They eat a lot of pap. So pap is it's maize meal. It's made from maize, and so you make it on fire the way you make eba or amala. So that's what. Okay. But that's what they eat. That's their own staple food, and they eat it with meat, as against us eating with soup. So I don't think they have soups here. They don't really have soups. They just have maybe sauces, but mostly they eat with meat. They eat a lot of meat, like a lot. Meat is very prevalent in all of their dishes, which is really nice. I like it.
Which is really nice. Now I'm actually, coming into like some of the controversial questions, right? Why do some South Africans hate Nigerians?
So I feel like it's very it's stereotype, right? Maybe you've had dealings with a bad person and unfortunately the person was Nigerian, and you just feel like, oh, all of the Nigerians, this is who they are, because they'll label you. They usually say, oh, Nigerians are drug dealers. There is a political party here, in South Africa, and their main objective is to cleanse their land of foreigners. Especially Nigerians, because somebody's child got into drugs, and instead of the person to blame their own parenting skills or other factors, but they nail it on, oh, their child was influenced to do drugs by a Nigerian. I'm like, how does an outsider, how can you give so much power to an outsider, to say that, oh, they controlled or influenced your own child that lives under your own roof? It shows that you are bad at parenting and you should probably not have children, Yeah, so I feel like it's very stereotypical. They just feel like, oh, because one person is doing this and the person is Nigerian, definitely all of them are doing that. And unfortunately, we've had some of those things have been true. You have Nigerians come here to do drugs. Well, definitely not all Nigerians come here to do drugs. I'm here, I'm not doing drugs. My husband is here, he's not doing drugs, and we have hundreds of thousands of other people, other foreigners here that are, here doing a legal type of work.
Legitimate business, yeah.
Yeah, legitimate businesses, legal works, even if you look at it on a scale, like for instance, recently last year my husband graduated from University of Johannesburg. He finished his PhD and it was his graduation, and we're going through the pamphlet where they will write the names of all the graduates. In his own department alone, I think it was just 2 South Africans, and the remaining of them are Nigerians, Zimbabweans,
Wow.
These are people that, yeah. So even when it comes to that kind of thing, like in the education, I give it to them, they study. South Africans study, they try to go to school. I feel like I'm going to get cancelled for this video. I'm just...
No, don't worry, you're not going to. It's
saying
actually...
Yeah. They go to school. But there is no way you can be educated more than Nigerians, right? Especially, I know that, Nigerians, we have the numbers, we are a whole 200 million population. But even if you put it on a scale, on an average Nigerian gets more education than almost any other person in the continent, on the continent. Nigerians and Zimbabweans, like, we are the most educated. Before you know it, you finish first degree. You're like, oh, what can I do? Let me just go and do my master's. You finish your master's, oh, let me just do PhD. Nigerians love to read books, right? So you cannot say that
the drive, the tenacity, we push.
Exactly. And because economy is bad, people are just like, okay, let's just do the next thing. Let's go for masters. Let's go for PhD, right? So you cannot say, oh, these people, this intelligent sector of people, all of them are drug dealers. Instead of South Africans to just have, to just put everybody in a box to say, okay, Nigerians are drug dealers, Zimbabweans are this, Somalians are that. I feel like they should judge everybody based on, their individual characteristics. Like, meet me first before you label me. Don't just label me by my title or by my nationality. I think that is really wrong. So I feel like that's why they hate. Hate is a strong word, but I feel like some of them can be like, they can be extremists. Like, they hate you and they will let you know that they hate you. And also, another reason why I feel like they do that is, they have this common saying of, foreigners are taking our jobs, blah blah blah. And I'm like, how? Like, how can foreigners take your jobs? South Africa is one country that would always, in every situation, put their citizens first. Especially if you are a black, disabled female, and maybe you are now lucky enough to get education. Maybe you even have a bachelor's degree. You can be sure that you will climb the corporate ladder faster than somebody that has a PhD and maybe is white or maybe a foreigner. Do you understand? So you cannot, when you have this kind of government, I feel like their government, even though every government has their own shortcomings, and but I feel like their government do a lot for them, and they have this government that is backing them up, like in almost every ramification, and they still say, oh, foreigners are taking our jobs. I don't think so. I don't think you should be able to, you should say that. I feel like if you are a competent, citizen or competent native, you get the job that you hope to get, right? Yeah, because if a South African person goes for an interview and a foreigner goes for an interview, and the South African can do the job, they definitely will give it to the South African, no matter where the foreigner is coming from, right? So I feel like you already have these systems in place that protects you. So it's very difficult for you to say, oh, foreigners are taking our jobs. Unlike Nigeria, where if you have a white person come for an interview and you a black person, they would,
that white person
definitely.
is getting the job, and we Nigerians will not go and start killing them or whatnot. And I actually want to come from you,
Because
with this statement I'm going to make, because the truth is that I think the average South African is lazy, especially their men. I know they will come for me, but
yeah, you can say it, but me, I cannot say it. I live here, so I
I
can't
know
say
you
that.
can't, but like especially their men, they don't have that drive.
Yeah.
They don't have the drive that you see in.
Drive.
Yeah, they're just chilled, and I don't know.
Yeah. No, actually, an average South African is chilled. Like, an average South African is a chilled person. They don't have the seriousness that we have to say, okay, let's do this. South Africans are pretty much very chilled. They're very chilled people. South Africans, my husband is in the corporate space, so I get to see, or get to hear firsthand, all of this, some of the things that they do in the workplace. If there is a public holiday, take for instance, there is a public holiday on a Wednesday, a South African in a normal organization would take Monday, Tuesday off. Monday, Tuesday, because there's a public holiday on Wednesday. So they'll probably take Monday, Tuesday, and the Wednesday that is a public holiday off. Or they start the public holiday on Wednesday, they will come to work Monday, Tuesday. On Wednesday, the public holiday. Thursday, Friday is off day. They will take a leave of absence. Then resume work the following Monday.
Well, but that one actually happens in Nigeria too, but it's actually the civil service.
It does? Service. I worked in Nigeria for over 5 years. I don't think it never happened.
In the civil service, they are like that.
Oh,
no, but those.
I'm not talking about civil
like
service. I'm talking about private practice.
It does. You can never do that. Never.
Private practice. I worked in private practice. You can, if you want to take leave, you first of all fast for like 3 days. God, please let them grant my leave. This is leave that you are entitled to. It is something that is in your contract. But you will still pray to God that, God, please let these people just grant my leave. Yeah, they don't care. Like, they are gone.
I get what you mean, because in Nigeria, even that public holiday in the private space, they wouldn't want to give it to you. They will look for a way to tell you to come.
Yeah, sometimes we'll even be negotiating. Exactly. Sometimes we'll be negotiating public holidays. Like, this is a public holiday. Your employer will say, well, this is a private practice.
That's true. Wow. In the private space? Whoa. That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they are very chilled, even when it comes to work. They are very chilled. So I think that's another reason why they don't like you. They don't like foreigners. They say foreigners take their jobs. And yeah, that's just very funny. But another thing I feel is because, like, especially Nigerians that are here, if you are good, you are good, right? If you are good, you are good. Like, you know the job, you know the work, and it's just a matter of time. They will have to give you what is due. Few Nigerians that are, maybe in the corporate space, they really stand out. Like, they really, really do stand out. Even in my circle, I have uncles and aunties here that are like top executives of their multinational organizations here in South Africa. So I see where they can come from, where they are saying, oh, foreigners are taking our jobs. But it's just because these people, they are good at what they do. So I mean, it just only makes sense that they get the reward or benefits of their hard work.
So it leads me to the next question, right? So what can South Africans learn from Nigerians?
Not even just from Nigerians. They should just see the world as a global space. They should see the world like a village. Like, everybody is just hustling and bustling, right? Yeah, we were born in a place, we have a nationality, but we don't have to be defined by the nationality, or we don't have to be confined to the place we were born, right? People should have a choice. People should have a choice to move to, wherever they want to move to live wherever they want to live. They should not, I think the hate comes from, they always say, oh, Nigerians, we don't like staying in our own country. Yes, we don't like it. Some people like it, some people don't, right? Some people like it, some people don't. Some people don't want to, live in one place for the rest of their lives. some people want to be able to have a taste of the world. Is a large space, is the world is big, the world is massive. Some people want to be able to have a feel of what that is in, every continent. Some people would have, you meet people that they will say, oh, their mission is to just live in every continent, in their lifetime. You cannot blame them for that. You cannot fault them for that. So I think they should see that as a choice that people can make. If you don't want to make it, that's fine, right? If you as a South African don't want to make that choice, you love your country so much. South Africans are very patriotic. They are like the most patriotic people on the face of the planet, which is a good thing. But, you cannot hold everybody to that standard, right? So yeah, they should see that people have the choice to live where they want to live. And if South Africa is the place a person has chosen to live in, just respect it. Especially if they're making a legal living, they're not breaking rules and they're not breaking laws. Just let them be. Yeah, I think that's my advice. Or that's what I would say South Africans should learn. They should just have an open mind, to foreigners living in their country. It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. Let me reiterate. It's not a big deal. Okay, so now, why do you think that some South Africans are aggressive and, they have inferiority complex? Do you think it's because of the appetite?
And so another thing is, when you weigh the coin, you kind of see where they are coming from, because they've had a very troubled beginning, very troubled background. So if you were there, if you were there during the period of apartheid, you don't even have to be there. You just have to watch movies. You will see,
what they went through.
You will be able to understand what they went through, where they are coming from, and everything. So I feel like, they've always had to fight, and it's just an apartheid. Their freedom is still very young. I think apartheid ended in 1994. That's just 20 years ago, or 30. Yeah, 30 years ago. A 30-year-old person is still very young, right? So I feel like their freedom is still very young, and they still feel like they have to fight for, everything that they have, or that they will have, or that they need. So I think that's where that stems from, and you really cannot blame them. You really cannot blame them. So sometimes the argument is very tricky, Yeah,
but it doesn't. It doesn't
when you're trying
give them room for some of the things that they do, but I think they will get there someday.
Yeah, exactly. I like the way they're very vocal. They can tell one thing they don't like. They're already on the street protesting. I like that. You can hold your government accountable. I feel like that's even what they should be doing more. Hold your government accountable. Tell the government you have rights to this, that. Don't now start coming to fight foreigners, that don't even know, they don't even have power. It's not like I'm in your National Assembly, making laws. I'm not doing that. So don't fight me. Hold your government accountable. I feel like that's even what they should be doing more, as against, fighting foreigners and all that. So I think that's where the aggression comes from. So that's why I said the argument can be tricky, but it doesn't give you a right to now kill somebody because you feel like they are taking your jobs. Doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
So what are the success stories in South Africa that can be replicated in Nigeria?
If a South African is to answer this question, they will tell you that they don't have any success story. But as a Nigerian, living in South Africa, I feel like there are so many things that can be learned, especially by the government. South Africa has like very good infrastructure, very, very good infrastructure. We can copy that. If the road networks are good, I feel like there will be less road accidents. Another one is the hospitals, the healthcare system in South Africa. If you Google it now, South Africa pretty much has the best healthcare system in Africa, and even in the world, it maybe in the first 20 or first 30. I think first 20 or first 10, you will see a South African hospital. The healthcare is amazing. That's when I was going to have a cesarean section here with my first baby, I did not even worry, because number one, I had a good doctor. Number two, the hospital was good. I know that everything that they need, even if something went wrong, everything that they need, to keep me alive, to keep the baby alive, is in the hospital. And I know that, they will not cut me open and maybe the light will go off and they'll be using torchlights to perform operation.
Or they'll forget a scissors or cotton wool.
Or they'll forget scissors in your stomach. So all those things, healthcare is, I don't feel like a South African official, maybe a president will be sick and they will have to fly him out of the country. I don't think so. I've not heard that news. Unlike Nigeria, where common chairman, local government chairman is sick, is in India. House of Rep is recently, this is not something you should laugh about, but recently a governor in Nigeria just died, and he died in an hospital in Germany. Do you see? I don't think that can be the case in South Africa, because the hospitals, it's just good. Like, it is amazing. So this is something that we can learn in Nigeria as well. Governments, governors, you can even start. Let's even leave the national executive alone. Let's start from the state executives. Build at least one good, top-notch hospital in your state, that that if you are sick, if something goes wrong with you, they can take you to that hospital and they will treat you properly, right? And that's something that just really stands out to me. There is no hospital that you go to in this country, especially I don't even know if they are private practices. Some of these hospitals, because there is Netcare, there is there is Netcare, there is Mediclinic, all these big hospitals, and they have arms everywhere. There is no one that you go to that you feel like, oh, your life is threatened or something might go wrong. You feel okay, and I feel like that's even one step to being healed or to being fine, when you know that you're in good hands, right? Yeah. So I feel like the Nigerian government can learn from that. Yeah.
I think for all that you're saying, right, they are actually the basic needs of life.
Yeah, basic, exactly. Basics. Yeah.
So if we can focus on that as a country and get it right, I think we're actually on the pathway for success. Thank you for sharing.
There are some places in South Africa where, their houses owned by government, given to citizens, right? I think they just pay like a fraction. And these are standard houses, like a 2-bedroom, with a water heater, kitchen, small compound. So they just pay like a fraction, maybe, for people that have like government workers, right? And that they don't have so much money to pay, to give to housing. The government subsidizes all of these things. It's just really, so an average South African is not suffering. At least they have the basic. It's not like, oh, maybe you are rich or something. Even if it's bread, you see bread to eat. That's why I said that if a South African should come here, they will not say the same thing. They will say, oh, they're suffering. But suffering is different.
They should come to Nigeria. If they want to check spaces, they should come to Nigeria to see where things are not working. Then they will go and be thanking God for their country.
It's different. Exactly. Suffering in Nigeria is different. The government does not even give 2 cents. The government will say, oh, they released funds for people to get bags of rice at Christmas. You will hear it maybe in 6 months' time that the funds were,
that one is it was gone. As the fictitious
some people shared the money. That's it. But here, it doesn't happen that way. Even if some people are still going to take part of the money. But that thing that they said they would do, they will still do it. They might not do it in abundance, but they will do it, right? The government still has care for the people, the care of the people at heart in this place. In Nigeria, they don't really care.
That's actually very insightful. So what are the tourist spots in South Africa?
Cape Town is one place that you have to visit in your lifetime. I mean, you have to go to Cape Town at least once in your life.
It's actually my bucket list, but because of all these things that has been happening, I just put it on the side. So I've been to Durban, I've been to Pretoria, I've been to Sun City, I've been to Joburg. Yeah, so SA is actually my go-to place when it comes to vacation.
So you came to South Africa and you didn't go to Cape Town. Why?
I just went to some other places apart from Cape Town.
No, Cape Town is somewhere that you have to go to. I have a family friend that they go to Cape Town like at least once every year.
Once a year.
That is how Yeah, that is, and they don't go to the same place twice, right? So there are other places like maybe this year they can go to a winery, next year they go to a farmhouse. Like it's just a lot of things you can do in Cape Town, and it's not just Cape Town as the city. There are other like extended neighborhoods that you have to visit. Yeah, it's just so beautiful, like so beautiful. So yeah, definitely Cape Town. Pumalanga is also a very beautiful spot. There are so many tourist attraction in Pumalanga. Then Joburg, of course, Joburg is like Lagos. So if you like Lagos, yeah, you like Joburg. Then Limpopo, it's a lot. It's a beautiful place you have to visit. So when my friends ask me, oh, should we relocate to South Africa? I'll say no, come on holiday in South Africa. Don't relocate to South Africa. Holiday and go back to where you're coming from. No, you really enjoy vacationing in South Africa.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing. So would you recommend South Africa as a choice for people that want to relocate?
No, I don't.
Why no?
I don't. Like, if you know me, if you follow me on my channel, you know that I definitely kick against it. Before you even finish saying it, I said no. Look for another country to go to, please. Even people here, they're trying to leave. So definitely look for another country to go to. There are so many places that you can go and do well and thrive, Yeah, every country has got its own problems, has got its own challenges as a foreigner. There are challenges you definitely face in other countries as a foreigner. But I feel like if you are getting reward for the challenge, it's fine. But here you get challenged, but you don't get reward. So just go somewhere else. Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that fact, and some people will just say, oh yeah, come, and then when you come you face the shake together and all of that, but for you to come and say no, don't think about South Africa.
No, don't come.
That's bold.
Don't come. No. Yeah, and if you look at, there are people that they've been here and they've left, and some of them are maybe content creators. If you listen to their story, it's pretty much the same. It's the same thing you are going through, they went through, right? So the story is the same everywhere with almost everybody. The reason why people want to leave is the same, right? So, and if you know the reason why, it's not like you have two words or you will escape it. Who do you think you are? So if you don't want to face it, just don't come, right? Find other places.
Thank you for sharing. So what do you miss about Nigeria?
Oh, I miss my family so much. Yeah, I think I miss my family. I miss the people. I miss Nigerians' madness. Even though sometimes I'm like, when I was in Lagos, when my relocation was getting close, and maybe I'm in traffic, I'm coming back from work, I'll just call my husband. I'll be like, oh, I can't wait to leave this country. This country is just annoying me. Blah 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 blah. But now I think I miss it.
You miss Lagos.
I miss that madness. Some people say that when you've lived in Lagos for too long, you cannot live in any other place, especially in Nigeria. You just be like, oh, these people are too slow. Every other person is slow.
Apart from Lagos, anybody that leaves Lagos to go to another city, even in Nigeria, they find it difficult to adapt.
Yeah. I had a friend when we were in law school. in Abuja, and she got a job in Abuja, and she was like, no, she can never take this job. I'm like, this is a good offer. Why don't you want to take it? She said, no. These people are too slow. She just feels like she'll be dead in a year. That she will have low blood pressure if she stays there, right? She had to go back to Lagos. Yeah, so I miss the food. I miss the accessibility to local foods like amala. If I want to eat amala, maybe if I'm in Ibadan, I'll just go to Amala Sky, eat amala. Or maybe if I'm in Lagos, I used to work in Ikeja, I'll go to Sheoluwa to eat amala. Is it Sheoluwa or Olaoluwa? I can't remember now. Yeah, Olaoluwa, eat amala. Like, I miss that a lot. I've not had like good amala since I got to this country. Then what else do I miss? I think that's it. The food, the people, my family.
Thank you so much for sharing. So, is there any other question, or is there any other thing you want to say about your experience living in South Africa that I haven't asked you?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered pretty much everything. Yeah, so far so good. I don't regret being here. I feel like this is just part of my life journey, right? Tomorrow, location might change. I don't know. But I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be at this time of my life. So yeah, no regrets. No regrets whatsoever. It's been good, I have a roof over my head. I have food to eat. I have my family that I love and they love me. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So definitely no regrets living in South Africa. It's one place that I will always come back to.
Oh, thank you so very much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so very much for honoring our invites and for making yourself available to have this conversation with us. It has been a very insightful conversation. So I'd like to say that the reason why we are doing this series is because a lot of people just, have this stereotype about Nigerians. And when you hear, oh, I'm a Nigerian, the next thing they start thinking about the negative. But we would like to tell you out there that we have Nigerians that are living in different parts of the world that are doing amazing, legit businesses. And they are actually making wherever the countries they are residing in a better place. So Nigerians are not all that bad. We are good people. So that is why we are doing this series. So if you are a Nigerian out there living in any country of this in the world, and you would like to share your experience with us, you can contact us on swaggerslifestyle@gmail.com. We would actually love to interview you and, hear your experience. Thank you, Mibi. And I would like to say that you should run and actually subscribe to her YouTube channel. Her contents are very, very rich. Trust me. She talks about family. She talks about marriage. She talks about finance and lifestyle. Trust me, you're actually going to learn from, her videos that she has actually put out there. So we will definitely tag her handle, that is her YouTube channel, in the description box. Do well to subscribe to her channel. And in conclusion, maybe what would you like to tell us?
Thank you so much, Gbogbo Swagger, for having me. Thank you. This has been a very fun conversation. And this is not to, bash anybody or say something negative. It's just my experience. It can be different for another person. It can be different for another Nigerian living in South Africa. What I've said or everything I've said might not be their experience. So this is peculiar to me. This is from my perspective, and I have no intention, to bash or to discredit or whatever. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you learned one or two things. Thank you so much, Gbogbo Swagger, for having me. It was really good.
Thank you so very much. So till I come your way next time, this is Gbogbo Swagger and this is Swagger's Lifestyle. Kindly do what? Subscribe, like, share, and comment. We'll definitely bring you more series about a Nigerian living in. Do take care and bye.